Indonesia's population is projected to expand by 58 million people, or 26%, over the course of the next 20 years. The number is expected to keep rising, which will have an impact on many elements of people's life, including water and sanitation. The community will require more access to drinking water and sanitary facilities as the population is expected to rise. According to the 2020 until 2024 National Medium-Term Development Plan, 100% of people should have access to basic drinking water and 90% to basic sanitation, including 15% of people with safely managed sanitations. The Indonesia government also commits to providing 45% people with access to safely managed drinking water and 30% people with access to safely managed sanitations by 2030. To reach the WASH national targets 2020 until 2024 on safely managed drinking water and sanitation, it requires at least $11 billion and $13 billion. And in order to meet the WASH national target by 2030, it will take at least $29 billion for safely managed drinking water and $25 billion for safely managed sanitation. By looking at the large budget needed for providing access to safely managed drinking water and sanitation, the national and local governments needed to encourage a synergy of funding at all levels and other potential funding sources to support its duties in meeting the WASH targets. Limited budget for service delivery and continuity, as well as local governments' inability to access funding and financing sources, are the key obstacles that's slowing down the progress toward WASH. Some districts in Indonesia have budget ceiling ratios for WASH universal service coverage that range from 1 to 3%. Budgetary limitations on local governments have become the primary cause of Indonesia's lack of funding for WASH. Since 2018, the National Development Planning Ministry tried to provide and publicize alternate funding sources that the district administration can use. However, a lack of communication at all administrative levels results in WASH budget allocation not being accessed and used as intended. Thus, Indonesia has made only modest progress toward achieving WASH universal service coverage. Wahana Visi Indonesia is committed to support Government of Indonesia in financing WASH for universal coverage from 2022 to 2025. This initiative is piloted in 6 districts in Indonesia with collaboration with the national, provincial, district, sub-district, and village governments. We conduct assessment on public funding sources, planning and budgeting mechanism, and all related policies implemented at national to local levels. The results showed 3 critical points on financing WASH: lack of budget availability at the local, administrative, lack of information on public funding sources, mechanism and procedure to access funding sources provided by the national level, lack of understanding and capacity of the local governments to meet the funding requirements. We collaborate with the National Development Planning Ministry in mapping all alternative fundings and mechanisms available from all possible resources in Indonesia as our commitment in supporting the government to reduce communication gap between national and local entities. The WASH Alternative Funding Handbook contains all public funding sources that are available at national, provincial, district, sub-district, and village levels, policy and regulation to support the funding, procedure, mechanism and requirement to access the funding, timeline of submissions and reporting, monitoring and reporting mechanism, contact information of the funder institutions. The process taken by both WVI and National Development Planning Ministry includes interviewing key informant, 5 ministries, 3 provincial governments, 3 development partners, content writing, reviewing, editing and finalizing, designing, layouting and printing, disseminating. WVI also supports district governments in developing required documents for accessing the alternative WASH public funding such as District Safely Drinking Water Plan and District Sanitation Strategy documents, including budget needed for WASH infrastructures, operational and maintenance, capacity building of service providers, monitoring and evaluation up to 2030. WVI facilitates multi-stakeholder workshops for disseminating public funding information as well as initiating non-public investment opportunities. As policy is required to make sure that the funding is used as planned, WVI also supports local governments in drafting local policy and regulation on WASH financing. WVI also strengthens the role of district and provincial WASH working group by activating task forces, facilitating coordination meetings, and regular joint monitoring on WASH planning and implementation.